I'm going to present you Query Builder. It's the first tool in our next section, which consists of interactive data exploration. But first, let me give you a brief explanation of why data exploration is a very difficult task and why we need to solve it. There is an increasing gap between our inability to comprehend data and the increasing volume which is stored in the databases. The volume is constantly increasing, and we are unable to understand the complexity of the data that is stored. In addition to this, users are having difficulty formulating queries as they might not be so familiar with the SQL querying language, or they may not familiar with a specific database. So we're going to see tools in this section that combat these issues. Our first tool, which is called Query Builder, is a smart data assistant tool that is able to generate recommendations of tables and attributes that may be interesting to the users. With this way, users are helped in order to explore a database which is complex or they are not familiar, by helping them build a starting query from scratch without requiring any knowledge from them. The advantage of this tool is that it's very easy to start and use. Users are not required to have any SQL experience, nor any familiarity with the database. And the recommendations are interactive, meaning that the performance is real time. So how does Query Builder work? It uses a reinforcement learning method that basically tries to balance exploring undiscovered options, meaning tables and attributes that have not been recommended so often, versus exploiting the most popular options. This method does not require any training data at all, as learning is performed in an online manner. So basically, the recommendations are adjusted based on what the users have previously selected. In addition, this tool can provide personalized recommendations without needing any prior information for the specific user, by basically building a profile that is adjusting on what the user selects online. So to give a brief example of how the recommendations work for table recommendations, let's suppose that our database consists of 3 tables. The goal of our algorithm is to recommend the best table from these 3. Of course, as we will see in our demo, the algorithm can recommend more than one option, can generate more than one. So our algorithm needs to select the best table by balancing between choosing the best option or exploring new options. The user observes this option and either clicks and selects this table or doesn't click, which is basically observed by our algorithm by translating this click or no click into a reward. And with this way, our algorithm is basically learning and updates its strategy. So let's move on to the demo.
And now let me demonstrate you how Query Builder works. Let's suppose that the user is not familiar with the database schema at all, and therefore cannot search by natural language. Instead, the user can build a query from scratch with the help of Query Builder. First, the user needs to select the desired database. Currently, our system supports any relational database. And then the user can choose to get table recommendations for the selected database. We can see that the user has received 5 table recommendations. Let's click on the most interesting one. We can see that the rest of the recommendations adjust so that they are related to the currently selected table. In addition, we have received 5 column recommendations from the selected table. We can choose again the most interesting ones, and we can see that as we change our selections, we automatically construct the underlying SQL query that depicts the user's selections. And instead of displaying the SQL query, we use our previously explained systems, logos and explain, in order to translate the SQL query into its corresponding natural language explanation. Of course, we can change our selections at any time and dynamically interact with the system. Once the user has finalized the query, we can see that we can search and view the results by clicking on the search button.
Thank you.